Everyone has a favorite game, something they return to every few years and plan to play just for a few hours, but then end up playing through half the game in one sitting. For me, that game is the Thief series, or to specifically pick a game, Thief 2: The Metal Age. It's a series that follows Garrett, a cynical but skilled burglar. He tries to steal enough to cover rent, but gets unwillingly sucked into a conflict between the gods of order and chaos. It's got stealth gameplay that's matched by few, if any, modern stealth titles, a unique and interesting world that crosses medieval and Victorian England, and a cynical protagonist that perfectly matches the burglary you'll commit. Thief came out over 20 years ago, and despite its achievements, would not be nearly as influential as it should have been. So any game that takes influence from Thief catches my interest. Filcher released in late 2021 and takes clear influence from Thief. If you're familiar with the Thief games, the user interface and controls will be familiar from the start. All the tools and weapons in the game have their equivalents in the Thief games. Some missions even have a lot of similarity with the levels in Thief 2. But Filcher definitely has its own ideas and identity. The presentation aims for style over graphical fidelity, and it works quite well. It creates a good atmosphere suitable for a noir story. It's a visual style you won't see in many games, for better or for worse, depending on your taste. The soundtrack has suitable, moody, and tense tracks, which add to the atmosphere. The story follows Spory. Like Garrett, she's a loner and a cynic, but an extremely talented burglar. Spory was adopted by the head of a crime family, but wants to become a freelancer. At first she's able to pull her own jobs, but her ties to her family come back to her. From there she goes through the twists and turns of your typical noir story. There's betrayals, and even a murder. It's not groundbreaking, but it's well executed, and the background storytelling in the notes is fun to follow. Filcher uses Thief's simple but very powerful stealth system. The bar at the bottom determines how visible you are. If it's light, Spory can be seen across the room, but if it's fully black, Spory is virtually invisible. Then there's sound. Each surface generates a different amount of sound. Surfaces like carpet are virtually silent. Wood and concrete generate a moderate amount of sound. Then there's metal and tile, which is extremely loud. Both Spory and the guard's footsteps will make noise. And that's all you need to effectively sneak around in Filcher. You use sound to locate guards. No radar, no vision codes, no detective vision. All you need to do is stop and listen. As the guard walks on the metal, his footsteps get louder. You know he's getting closer, but then they grow softer, and you know he's walking away from you. Here's a short example. The clip on the top left is muted and shows the guard. Filcher isn't just content to bring Thief's stealth into a modern release. Filcher has dynamic light, which is not really present in Thief. It gives you another way to track guards. The clip on the bottom right shows the guard. Notice the guard's flashlight and how its beam changes as he walks in a square pattern. This lets you use both visual and audio cues to work out when it's safe to proceed. There's a lovely set piece later on, with a lighthouse illuminating the dock every 5 seconds. It's a great addition to Thief's stealth, and something I can imagine Looking Glass Studios adding if they ever got to make their Thief 3. Spori also has one move Garrett doesn't, her slide. This quick slide lets her glide across any floor type, even loud marble floor. It's going to be essential to ghosting some areas. Filcher also has another surprise for any Thief fan. It doesn't have any quick saves or checkpoints. In Thief, if you choose, you can make a quick save and load if you're caught. It's up to you as a player how much you want to use this. You can save every minute and avoid using all the defensive and evasive tools you get. Or you can go through the whole level without saving if you choose. Even other stealth games like Metal Gear Solid give checkpoints for every few minutes of gameplay. But in Filcher, you must complete every mission in one try. It forces you to completely change your playstyle, especially if you're a save scummer like me. Flashbangs, tranquilizer darts, and your slide will be essential for getting out of danger when you're caught. There's no quick save to load, only your escape instinct. As you explore every new room, you'll need to proceed carefully. Stop and listen. Think of a shadowy spot or room you can retreat to. The further you go, the tenser it becomes, as more and more is on the line with every unknown room. An alarm or knocked out guard may be a necessary cost you need to make to survive and continue. Perfection is difficult. The ghost rank has to be genuinely earned in one perfect attempt. Every piece of loot must be found without a single guard knocked out or aware of your presence. It makes for a great adrenaline rush, but it can also lead to a lot of frustration. It makes small gripes that could be easily overlooked become much more frustrating. For example, there's no voice acting in the game, so when guards see you they grunt. One grunt means they're suspicious, while another means they're going to chase you. But it's a lot less clear than differentiating who's there and stop thief, and it can ruin a run potentially. Repeating the beginning of a mission over and over can make otherwise fun moments feel dull and boring. For example, that lighthouse set piece I mentioned earlier can lose its charm fast with every mission reset. In conclusion, as a big fan of the Thief games, I had a lot of fun with Filcher. I would highly recommend it to any fan of Thief or stealth games. I found its visuals and atmosphere charming, and enjoyed its well-executed noir story. It put the great core gameplay of the classic Thief games into a new title, but it also brought its own additions to the gameplay. It took me out of my comfortable save-load playstyle, and forced me to play stealth games more naturally. It made regular stealth gameplay feel incredibly fresh and satisfying. It's nice to see a developer push their vision above the player's comfort, and it pays off incredibly well here. Thank you for watching my video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any feedback or thoughts, a comment or like would be great. And enjoy the rest of your day, and hope to see you in another video.